Hello and welcome to Student Connections on Location. Today we're talking to Mr. Scot Kavanaugh, the manager of the Marysville High School Performing Arts Center. So we know that you work in here whenever there's a show or a performance going on at the Performing Arts Center, but what is it that you do most of the time while there's a show going on?
When there's a show going on, here really in a support role. Lighting actually, sound, stagecraft, which is anything that we build on stage. I'm basically here as a support unit for whatever the show is, whether it's choir, it could be a band, drama, whatever.
Okay. And when you work in here, I know that you work in the control room, but there's two control rooms. You have the upper control room and the lower control room. Is there any major difference between the two, or do you spend more time in one or the other?
Sure. The lower control room used to be for lighting, and the upper control room was audio. When I came on board, I had not switched them, but I took the lighting stuff out of the lower control room and put it up into the upper control room because it took two technicians to run a show because they're on different floors. If we get lights and sound on the same floor like we have now, I can usually run it by myself, which saves time and money. Well, we can talk about it, but I'd rather show you it. You want to go check it out?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mr. Kavanaugh, when you're working up here before the show, before the audience arrives, is there a lot of prep work or anything that you have to do before you get going?
Well, absolutely. That's a funny thing in theater. People think when they show up, the show starts, and when they go home, the show's over. It's really never the case. Some of these shows take weeks to get ready for. Some take hours. It all depends on the show. When we're doing a musical, it could take months of preparation for a show. And a lot of people always say, "Oh, what are you doing after the show? Let's go out and and grab a bite to eat or something." They don't understand that we're here hours sometimes after the show and the audience leaves, still working. We just can't get up and walk away, and this stuff doesn't magically take care of itself. We have to put microphones away and lights away and move set pieces and stuff. But there's a lot of prep work that goes into it. But on a real easy show, like a band concert or something, I'm usually here an hour and a half, 2 hours before the audience actually shows up to get all those last minute things done.
I know that you do a lot of work and that the school does a lot of work, especially for the musical. They're here for practically months working on it before it starts. And I know that you do a lot of work in the backstage before the musical starts, right?
Yeah. Pre-show for me on the musical is a lot of set building, a lot of construction, and that's where you got to put your carpenter hat on and your electrician's hat, and we try to get some dads to come in and help. Sometimes that's really successful, sometimes it's not, but I'll always take all the help I can get. But when you come and see the musical or the senior play, most of that stuff is built by me and any parent volunteers that we have. But yeah, it can take a few months to come up with those set pieces and prop pieces, yeah.
And aside from just the work before the show starts, working for months building the set, during the actual show itself, during the week or however long many nights they decide to show it for, is it ever stressful having to keep up with the mic work and trying to keep up audio and make sure nothing goes wrong mid-show?
Sure. Everything in theater is stressful. Yeah, that's because it's a live performance. Unlike when you're taping for television, you screw up, you can stop and redo it. Theater's live, so whatever happens, happens. So when something goes bad or something goes wrong, we do everything we can as fast as we can to fix it, because there's no stopping, there's no take two. And of course that's stressful, but that's also what makes it fun.
Have you ever had anything go wrong like that during a show, or had any big oops moments that you had to hurry up and catch up with?
Yeah, the list could go on forever. Fortunately here at Marysville, there's been nothing tragic, but in my 20 or so years in theater, yeah, there's many stories of things going wrong.
So could you show us just some of what you do up here? It looks like there's a lot of tech up here. Do you use all of it during the show?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right where I'm standing right here, in front of me is our Philips Strand light board. This controls all the theater lighting in the theater. Anything that is aimed at the stage. That's these two monitors, there's a keyboard. It is a Windows-based system, so it's really easy to learn and operate. But this controls all of our lighting for theater. This next console over here is lighting as well, but this is all the work lights and the house lights. So this is more architectural. This is all the lights you see out here in the open commons area. It's all the work lights in the catwalks and backstage and that. So this one controls all the work lights and architectural lighting. The computers over here operate all the theater lights. And the difference is these we know when we want to turn them on and off. It's just for work and for when people come in. The computer system over here is programmable. So we completely program in what colors we want, light levels, when the blackouts come, when the light levels go up and down. So once you get that all programmed, the show never changes. So when you come see a show on Friday, you're going to see the exact same show on Saturday and on Sunday, because once that's pre-programmed, it's always the same show. That's really automated. And that helps the actors too, because actors never want to have their lighting change. Once they know they're blocking, they always want to know, when I go and stand here, the light's going to come on. And hopefully in theater that always happens, and that's why everything's automated like that. So this is our lighting area. Once we get over here a little bit, now this is all the audio portion. These black panels or paddles you see here are they're receivers for our microphones. We just did purchase a bunch of new wireless microphones, and that's what this box is for here. That gives us 12 channels of either wireless head-worn microphones like we do in theater, like this, or it gives us the option of 6 handheld wireless units. But this is all new this year. Works great. It's fantastic. We have another Windows-based PC up here. It actually runs Windows XP. For computer geeks, we love XP. It's a really, really old system, but for what we do, it works perfect. It's flawless. It's a workhorse. So I love to have XP on my computers, because really we're just running audio files on there and iTunes and stuff like that. So it works great. Over here's our audio board. This is where all the microphone inputs and outputs come through. We have someone up here mixing. A lot of times during a show, I can't run a show by myself. I'm more of a light guy by trade, so I'll stay over there and run lights, and we usually have a student volunteer come in and run sound. Usually a comm arts kid that's worked one of these before, or sometimes we get kids that run sound in their church, or they got a garage band, or whatever the case may be. Someone that's had a little experience in it, we love to bring them in and let them do this. It's a little bigger than they're probably used to. Even up in comm arts, we deal with 1 or 2 channels of audio usually. On here, it's 32. So there's a lot going on. You can see here the markings. We just got done with Mary Poppins, where we had 16, we had 22 microphones on during that show. Not all at one time, but at any given time we could have had up to 22 microphones on. So audio's here, and over here's our old wireless microphone system that we don't really use too much now. And we also have, the usual stuff: DVD players, CD players, digital recorder, and then a really cool patch-based system, which this kind of looks old school. Like, you think of like an old phone system where you have to patch bay your cords in and out. But this is really nice because everything here matches what's on the back of the mixer. And a lot of times when you want to plug in microphones and stuff, you got to climb behind here and plug everything in. Here we don't. Everything's here on this patch bay, and it just makes life really easy.
So even though it's an old school system, you still use the patch bay, you still use it in place of having to climb behind your audio board?
Absolutely. It's amazing. It works really, really well. It's old school, but sometimes old school is the best.
So the Marysville Performing Arts Center is super nice. We have a huge stadium, we have a huge auditorium. We're one of the only places with a balcony, right? Mm-hmm.
This is the only performing arts center in the area at the high school level with a balcony.
How many people can we bring into this place?
750.
750 seats.
Is the seating capacity of the full auditorium, yeah.
That's awesome. And I know we have a lot of shows in here. Do we have any shows, like huge shows coming up soon or happening anytime soon?
Because we're getting towards the end of our school year, there's not a lot of real big things going on, but we are very, very busy. We do a lot of award shows for sports. We'll do like Honor Society, baccalaureate, everything that's kind of related to end of school and graduation festivities, and plus all the band concerts and choir. All those groups also have their end of year programs too. So it's going to be real tight. May and June is super full, but we have something in here all the time.
Absolutely. So you said that you worked backstage, just behind the front of the stage over here, behind the curtains. And I know that we can go from here right behind the stage and see where you work. Can we go see there?
Sure. We can show you backstage. Let's go.
So I know there's a lot of crazy, awesome stuff that we have down here. I've heard that we have an amazing theater program, but I don't know really anything much about it. Could you tell us what some of this stuff does, or what any of the thing that you're leaning on is?
The stuff backstage here?
Yeah.
Sure. This is called a stage manager's council. Basically, the light system we looked at upstairs for the industrial stuff, or for the architectural lighting and the work lighting, this is basically the exact same thing, just in a different format where it's mounted up on the wall. So if there's a stage manager back here, they can access all our work lights. Like you see, it says work lights. And then they can also, on this little touch panel, operate like the band shell lights, and we can pre-program some stuff in here, some submasters, work lights that way. Give them a little bit of control. We don't want to give them a lot of control because that's still the light guy upstairs' job, but especially when maybe band or choir wants to come in and do a rehearsal on their own, we give them access to get the lights on to practice, so they don't have to bring someone in just to go up and turn everything on, the full system. They can come down here and have access to that. A stage manager also would be in communication with everyone else. We have these headsets. We call them ClearCom. ClearCom's the brand name, actually, but it's a communication headset that the stage manager would wear. If you're running audio, you would have it. If you're the lighting person, they would have it. Spotlight operators upstairs, so we're all in communication with each other. We can talk around, just like having a walkie-talkie, but it's in a nice headset form. And anyone of any importance doing anything in the show has one on, and that's how we communicate with each other.
So beyond just like the stage manager's council, you called it, there's a lot of, there's the rigging over here in the walls, I know. We
Sure.
have the rail, I don't remember what it's called. Can you
Yeah,
tell us
pin
about-
rail upstairs. This is all our fly loft system here. You can see all the ropes here. And what this is doing is everything in theater is hung from the ceiling, whether it's curtains, lighting, some set pieces, everything we see, and we can probably pan a camera around at some point and show these to you, but everything overhead of the stage is hung from the ceiling, which means it can fly, and fly just means it can go up and down. Some of it can come in and out, like main curtains we can close in and out this way, but everything can fly up and down, and that's what the fly rail does, because lights and things are really, really heavy. So if we just hooked them to a rope, an average person wouldn't be able to get them off the ground. They're way too heavy. Some of these pipes, we have up to 3,000 pounds on them. So they've come up with this arbor system where you can kind of see that some of them, you can see the weights on them. We counterweight everything. So as long as whatever's on the pole or on the pipe weighs the same as the counterweights over here, it's a nice scale. It's a nice even pull, so anyone can do it. We're a little modern here, where our first electric is motorized now. So we still have to have the counterweight system on there, but we have motor assist on that. In some like Broadway theaters, they might have all of their electrics like that. We don't, we just have one. But our first electric is the heaviest out of the theater, so that was really nice that they put that on a motor for us. So it's at a push of a button now, it goes up and down instead of having to manhandle it, by hand. But the arbor system really, really helps out with the counterweights and makes everything light and easy to move.
Well, Mr. Kavanaugh, I'd like to thank you again for coming out, taking time out of your day to record this with us, and to come show us around the Performing Arts Center.
Thanks for coming down and checking it out.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Student Connection on location. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to tune in next time on M6, your hometown station.